Economic crisis is now becoming a world financial crisis a day after the market takes its fourth triple-digit plunge in a row. Here's a look at the economic downturn of little global proportions. Great Britain is now partially nationalizing its banks. The Asian stock market takes a dive, and the Dow drops more than 500 points. Our James Ford is live on Wall Street with the latest on this financial meltdown. James.
Well, the very latest, we have breaking news. The Federal Reserve just announced that it is cutting its key interest rate by 0.5%, from 2% to 1.5%. Now, look, what does that mean to you and me, just regular folks?
You know what it means to regular folks? Absolutely jack the fuck shit button. Okay? That's what it means to regular folks like me and you.
What it means is it should be easier for banks to borrow money from the Federal Reserve and to lend money and borrow money among each other. In other words, they could end up having more access to cash for companies that, say, that you work for. Your employer now gets more guarantees that it's going to be easy enough to cut you a paycheck. We're talking about those very simple and really important terms because this crisis is just that bad, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average gives us some sense of just how bad things are. Take a look at this.
Yeah. In other words, they're gonna keep doing what the fuck started the bullshit in the first place. They're gonna lend money out here. They're gonna borrow money to cover the money. It sort of sounds like what they tell you, me and you, the common Joe, not to do. Oh, don't borrow from one credit card to pay another credit card. That's what it sounds like. Oh, don't borrow from the credit card to pay the bill because then you owe for the credit card. That's what the hell they're doing. But they tell the common person don't do that.
Over a 2.5-year period, the Dow rose from the mid-9,000s up 1,400 points. Well, in the last 5 days, we've lost the same value to end up in the 9,400 range. That's the lowest the Dow's been for 5 years. Things looking particularly bad, and what happens in other markets across the globe affects...
Things looking particularly bad, even though that $750 billion deal, bailout package, didn't do fucking jack shit, just like I said. You know what? That's Bush's retirement fund. That's what that is. That's why it was pushed so hard. Okay? My fellow Americans, you fucked up. You could have all been rich. That would have, if everyone was a millionaire in this country, and with $700 billion, everyone in this country could have been an American. Could have been a rich American. A millionaire American. You could have paid your mortgages, pay your bill on time, get better credit rating, buy a new car, get some clothes, buy better food, put your children in private schools, buy a home without a mortgage. I think that would have raised the economy up 100%. The banks would have made money lending money overseas to other people. Your money that was in the account. The government make money because they tax you for the millions you will have. But no, no! We better bail out the fat cat! The rich, like they're still doing. This is all they're talking about. Oh, the banks need money. Why the fuck does the bank need money? They have my money, why do they need more from me? Holy cow! This is all bullshit. They should you know what? Everyone in America, all American citizens, ask for what's left of that $700 billion. Forget about it. It ain't gonna do a damn thing.
That's what happens here in New York. And right now, European markets trading down. And when you look at the Asian markets, the picture is far worse. Many Asian market trading floors look orderly, but looks deceive. Across the largest continent, hundreds of billions of dollars in stocks evaporated during their trading day, and that doesn't bode well for the New York Stock Exchange today. Here are the details. The second biggest economy in the world, Japan, saw its market drop nearly 10% in one day.
Look at those red arrows. They all point down. This is after the bailout. Nothing. It did goddamn nothing. They were all full of shit. They lied. They said, this is it. This will help us.
And those other red arrows you see are just a few of the down markets in Asia. That 10% plummet that you see in Indonesia would have been even worse, but its government shut that market down before it crashed.
You know what? Not that I give a shit about other markets. I'm sure it's important to people. But you know what? They're all worried about all these markets down there. Meanwhile, here in this country, they're pressuring everyone to pay tax, do this. They're putting it all on the poor man while the fat cat gets bailed out every fucking single time. Who the hell out there gets bailed out? The common Joe. The taxpayer, the working taxpayer. Which one of us get bailed out? None of us.
And here at home, the head of the central bank warned that the economic dread is spreading. This sluggishness of real incomes, together with tighter credit and declining...
See, this prick was saying once the bailout comes in, we'll be okay. This bailout will help us. We need it severely. Yeah, we need it so they can take that vacation in the Caymans. Open up that new Swiss account that no one knows about, you know?
Household wealth is now showing through more clearly.
They probably go to the same bank that the major drug dealers use. Them shits that never show up anywhere on the economy in the world. But the money's there when they need it.
Consumer spending. Now that's the chairman of the Federal Reserve who again just cut the key interest rate from 2% to 1.5%, hopefully making it a little easier.
Why? Wasn't that $750 billion enough to fucking get them out of the headache?
Here for you to get credit, maybe loosening up the credit markets in this country. We just don't know for sure. One last thing that the Fed also has done, it's taken emergency...
What I want to know is why couldn't he lower the interest rate before the $750 billion? That's what I don't fucking understand. And they got bailed out. They got paid $85 billion. Again, people, $1 billion would make a millionaire out of every American citizen 18 on up. $1 billion.
To lend money to entities that aren't just financial institutions like banks. For other companies as well, it's doing that, and that's a first. We're going to be on top of this thing all day as we wait for the stock market to open in 2.5 hours. A lot of concern down here right now. For now, though, reporting live from outside the New York Stock Exchange, I'm James Ford.
Let me add a little something to this to the end of this report. They fucked us. I don't know how else to put this, but somehow they're not bailing. They didn't bail out anybody. Where's that money? That shit is they're supposed to be bailed out. You know what? Now they're lowering the interest rate. Oh, we can lower the interest rate now, and that'll help people keep borrowing. Why couldn't they do that before the bill was passed? Okay. Another thing is, all of a sudden, all the same people, the same cocksucking, motherfucking, ass-licking motherfuckers that said, once we get the bailout, everything will be okay, are now saying, oh, we're now in dying economy. It's gotten even worse. The fucking Wall Street's going down the toilet. Okay? You know what? All this was a fucking way of getting $700 billion out of the taxpayers' pocket and into fucking George Bush's pocket. And all those other motherfuckers that got the payoffs, okay? The House of Senate, the fucking the representatives, all those motherfuckers. That's who got that shit. The Wall Street guys who held on and kept that shit going, the banks who didn't lower their interest until now, that's all. That's the only motherfuckers they pocket that $750 billion. It didn't go to bail out anything. Flavio 13 out.